Welcome to Destination Station, your number one station in the nation. As always, I'm Destin. I'm here to talk to you about a new movie I just saw, and I can't believe how long it took for me to check this film out. And it's called Hell or High Water, starring Jeff Bridges, Ben Foster, Chris Pine, among others. This film, it was directed by David Mackenzie, and you don't really know him from. I looked at his filmography and everything. I didn't see anything that stood out to me. It looked like he did some TV shows and maybe some movies back in the day. It looked like he was out of the limelight between like 2005 to 2013, and even whenever he came back in 2013, he didn't really have any movies that probably are well known to today. But it was also written by Taylor Sheridan. He did the screenplay of this film. He also did Sicario that came out. I don't know if that was earlier this year or if it was like the end of last year, but I really enjoyed that movie. And similar to that film, Hell or High Water is a very slow burn. You need to know that before you go into it, expecting this huge bank robbery type film. It's got an A-list cast, but that's really where this movie is. The backbone of this movie is the cast, the performances out of these characters. Jeff Bridges always brings it to the screen. Chris Pine is a really good actor. I like him in the Star Trek films. I know some of his other movies they don't do quite well, but he's actually a very good actor. But the person who really shines for me is Ben Foster. This guy, I have said it from the moment that I noticed him. I know that he's been around for years, but he's never been up front. He's never really been the guy that everyone sees on the poster of the films or anything like that. He's always kind of a co-star or a side character or some type of subplot or something like that. But Ben Foster kills it in this movie. He still to today is one of my favorite actors. He always brings it. 3:10 to Yuma. Alpha Dog comes to mind right off the bat. That's whenever I really started noticing him, was in Alpha Dog. And I love that movie. And even though it does have some flaws, and I know it was a true story, Ben Foster's performance steals the show. It steals the show. And I have to say, even this ain't a review on Alpha Dog, but even Justin Timberlake did a good job in that film. Despite what anybody else says, I was really surprised at that movie. I love that movie. But Ben Foster is one of my favorite actors, and I've said that from like the films I already said. 3:10 to Yuma, Alpha Dog. He did a small role in 30 Days of Night. He was the crazy guy that came to the town warning everybody about that they're coming. He was in The Mechanic. That was a major surprise. He was the best part of that movie. I'm not a big fan of Jason Statham movies, and even The Mechanic was still a Jason Statham movie, but Ben Foster's character and the way he acted in that movie and how brutal violent that one scene was that they brought home that guy and they like he just started stabbing him with that kitchen knife and everything. Like Ben Foster his emotions just pop off the screen, and I can't wait for it. Every time that he makes a movie, I can't wait to see the next film that comes out. He does not get enough recognition. Lone Survivor. He was the guy that went down shooting up against that tree. Like, he just is a fantastic actor. Okay, enough about Ben Foster. This film, Hell or High Water, is such a well-directed movie, well-acted, well-written. This movie, it's sitting at an 8.1 on IMDb right now, and I think it's like at a 96% or 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is 90%. So this movie's getting well received. I think it had a limited release. It's about to come out on Blu-ray, I believe, next week. Check this movie out. Either Redbox it, buy it. I'm going to buy it and add it to my collection. I enjoyed Sicario. If you didn't enjoy Sicario, it's not exactly the same film, but the pacing is the same. If you cannot stand a movie that is not action-packed, in your face constantly, then you're probably not going to like this movie. This movie goes at times in a snail's pace. Now, when the action kicks off, it kicks off, and it's very, very well. But there's moments that drags. This is more of a character study piece because you have the relationship between Jeff Bridges and his deputy, and then you have the relationship between the brothers Chris Pine and Ben Foster, and the reasoning why they're doing these bank robberies, and it goes back and forth from each other's story, and it works so well, and you actually care about these characters, every single last one of them. And let's talk about Jeff Bridges and the deputy. Okay, Jeff Bridges is a Texas Ranger that's getting ready to retire. This gets thrown on his desk last minute. They're saying that the FBI doesn't want the case because the bills aren't large enough. They're not taking anything from the safe. They're just taking from the drawer, and then they're running to the next bank. And so Jeff Bridges is like, he might be able to have some fun before he leaves the force. So he and his deputy goes. Jeff Bridges, this old man that's stuck in his ways, he comes off very, very racial. He doesn't care about people's feelings, especially his deputies. He mistakes his deputy from being a Mexican whenever he's really an Indian. There's a lot of there's a lot of tension there at first, but then they come to respect one another, and they become friends. And and that's not a big part of the movie, but it's an important part of the movie. It builds the characters between these two, and you care about them before what happens near the end of the film. And this is one of those movies that just constantly progress. Well, there were some points in the middle that did kind of drag along, but they're not there very long. It picks right back up. And a lot of times you can't understand what Jeff Bridges says because he talks like this. He's just like, oh, we gotta get these boys and blah, 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 blah. You can't really understand him, but if you've watched a lot of Jeff Bridges films, he basically does the same shit, and you can probably make out what he does. But if you're not used to Jeff Bridges, I don't know how you're not if you're in a film, but if you're not used to Jeff Bridges and the way he talks and everything, I mean, it is kind of hard to understand, but you might just need some subtitles whenever you watch the film when it comes out. But it's still very good, very good. Reminds me of a lot of old men that I know today, and their chemistry back and forth with one another and talking shit and everything. That's how me and my friends are sometimes. Like, we talk shit. We don't take offense. We just talk shit to one another just because it's funny. We try to say the most offensive thing, trying to get on each other's skin, but we don't let it get to us. We kind of just you try to come back with something witty and get back at them. But yeah, well, let's move over to Chris Pine and Ben Foster's character. These guys are brothers, and I don't want to give away too much plot detail because there's really not a whole lot here. It's more of the performances that steals this whole entire show, like I said. But these guys, they're brothers. Ben Foster is the older brother. Chris Pine needs to do this for a certain reason. I'm not going to tell you what. I don't want to give it away. But he's needing to rob these banks for a certain reason. And Ben Foster is like an adrenaline junkie. And that's the perfect role for him because in every film he's like an adrenaline junkie. He is just so extreme. And this role was perfect for him. He stole it. He's one of these chameleon actors that just disappear on the screen, man. Like, he just doesn't. He gets so into character. He just deserves so much more recognition than what he gets. These two brothers, they're out doing this. Chris Pine, never been arrested, doesn't have no type of record whatsoever. Ben Foster is currently out of jail or prison or something like that, but he's the kind of guy that's always in trouble. And basically all Ben Foster's doing it is because his little brother asked him to. His little brother asked him to, and he loves his little brother. No matter how crazy he is, he still loves his little brother, and he's still going to back him up. And that shows like family dynamics right there. No matter what is going on between you and your family, no matter how bad they piss you off, no matter how bad of a record they got, and how much they jumped off the end, like it fell off the rocker, so to speak, like, they're always going to have your back. And that's what this movie kind of sets up about between these two brothers. And they go out and they do this, and this is based in West Texas, but it wasn't filmed in West Texas. It was filmed in New Mexico. And but they just set this film up so very well. It's not dialogue like Quentin Tarantino's film that we've loved to we've learned to love over time and stuff like that. Some people's loved it from the beginning. I'm not one of those people. I did like some of his films in the beginning, but now I feel like right now Quentin Tarantino's in a sweet spot. Like he's doing movies right. He's at his A game right now. But I just feel like that everyone should give this movie a chance, even though it got a limited release. It should have got a huge, wide theatrical release. I'm definitely buying this movie when it comes out. Sicario, let's talk about that for a minute. If you didn't like Sicario had its moments. It was very good. I know a lot of people loved it. I know a lot of people did not care about it. It was too boring for them. This movie, the setting and everything like that, I feel like it fits a little bit better. I feel like the movie flows a little bit better. The editing, the cinematography is just very nice to look at. With Sicario, I expected a little bit more, even though I enjoyed that movie very much. Hell or High Water is this director's sweet spot, is this screenwriter's sweet spot. I think I'm looking forward to checking out more of their stuff that comes out in the future. Just check this movie out. Don't just take my word for it. I'm glad you're here watching this, but I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10, and that's not going to be my rating score forever. I'm going to come up with a different type of rating score. Everybody has this rating score, this 1 out of 10, or they got the A list, or they got the percentages, or whatever. I'm going to come up with my own rating score, but for right now, I'm working with what I got. 9.5. Leave a comment below. Let me know what kind of rating score. Give me some good ideas of what I could do for my rating score, and I'll take it into consideration. I just hit 200 subscribers. I want to thank every single last one of y'all. You guys are awesome. I couldn't be doing this. I can't believe that I have you guys coming to watch me to talk about film and review them, and I love that. You guys are the best audience, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, hey, if y'all didn't like it, y'all wouldn't come. If you build it, they will come. All right, that was gay as a bag of dicks. Anyways, check out Hell or High Water. It should be coming out Blu-ray in a week or so. I just cannot express how much I loved this film, and it's really based off the characters. I just want to talk about there's one scene that really sticks out in my mind that shocked me. It shocked me. I did not expect it. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It blew me away. It blew me away, and it has a Thelma and Louise type feel. Not really on the comedic aspect of it, but like just this outlaws on the run, with the scenery of the desert and stuff like that. If you like those type of films, you're gonna love this. It's a very small movie. I have a perfect comparison between Chris Pine and Ben Foster's character, with them being brothers. If you've ever seen that Ben Affleck film, The Town, that he directed and starred in, where they're bank robberies, and I think that one was based in Chicago or something. But the relationship between Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner, whatever his name is basically the same relationship that is in Hell or High Water as these two brothers, because how Jimmy Rimmer was just this crazy guy, and he would just, he didn't give a shit. He just like, when do we do it? He loved it for the thrill. He didn't give a shit. Had a little anger behind him. It was great. That's kind of like how Hell or High Water is. All right, guys. I think I've said enough about this film. I can't express how much I want you guys to support this movie, because movies like this gets thrown under the radar. They don't get a full wide theatrical release, and then we get shit like fucking Transformers thrown at our face every year, or I love Marvel films, but it's getting oversaturated, if you ask me. About the same origin story I've seen. I heard Doctor Strange is basically the same story as Iron Man as an origin. I mean, I know it's an origin story, but I'm looking for something I'm looking for good films that are more realistic, I guess you could say. And don't get me wrong, I love Marvel films. I love the cinematic universe and all that stuff. So I'm not bashing on it. I like to see little diamonds in the rough like this film here. Hell or High Water. Check it out. 9.5. Great film. It's sitting at an 8.1 on IMDb. It's at a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. 90% as the audience score. Go see this movie. I can't tell you again. And as always, I don't care what you say. I know I say fuck the critics all the time, but on this one, I have to agree with, unless the score starts coming down whenever more people get to see it. So thank you. This is Destination Station, #1 station in the nation. As always, I'm Destin. Hit that like button, share this video, comment, subscribe, come back. I'm going to do another video here soon. I'm going to try to put out some more movie theater type movie reviews instead of just doing like Blu-ray and Steelbook unboxings. I'm still going to do those, but I want to do more movie reviews. I love doing this for you guys. Tell me what you want to see. I'll see you guys next time. So this time, I can't say fuck the critics. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck the critics.